Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in Waffle County. I'm excited. I'm excited because today, as you can tell by this view, that I want to work on some transportation. The very first piece of transportation I want to work on is going to be, we're jumping right in. We're jumping right in today because I just am feeling like it's time to do some transport. We've got a really robust train network. You know what? Let's take a second and review. We have a really robust train network that is covering a decent amount of the city. I mean, everywhere is being touched by this train network. And over here, we have a really decent bus network as well. But when you come over to this area, and this is mainly because this is still not fully developed yet, so I haven't wanted to put a lot of energy or effort into some of these services until we knew more of what we were doing. But I would like to begin to think about introducing, I think, both a bus, but also I've had some suggestions to incorporate more trams into this build. And I was looking over the map, and we have this avenue that goes alongside the train. The train is fantastic. It does service, we've got this area here, which is the university, or Waffle County University. Our next train line that is on this line is all the way down here in Belmont, our new area, which actually, before we get too far along, let me go ahead and just add in a pathway here to get into this area. Because I'm gonna have a long path here. And I know I could probably connect right into the back here, but what I would rather do is with this long path, let's go ahead and send this underground. There we go. That tree is kind of hovering in a weird way, but that's all right. But what I wanted to have here is, by now having that connection, there's an easy way to get over this way. And you know what? We'll even fix this one a little bit. I know this is going to look a little funky, but I just want to give this some kind of tunnel. We'll even fill this in with some of these grasses. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so now we have a better connection that way. All right, so we've got some trains. They're moving and grooving. We are having some issues with not enough educated workers. That's fine. That will fix itself over time. Speaking of which, now I'm distracted, but how are we doing over here? We need more students. We've got absolute capacity for students, and we need more attractiveness. So I could think about doing some more attractiveness. I think that'll also come once we build some stadiums, which we're not yet ready for. What did I want to do today? I want to jump back into transportation. So we've got, like I said, a really robust train line. It does have selective areas that it serves. So like this orange line's connecting here, Belmont is connecting down here, but in terms of getting outside connections from all of these other neighborhoods into the downtown, we do that pretty well. We have the beginnings of a decent metro kind of system. We have this one here that is stopping closer to the university, this stop, and then we have this stop here that's stopping pretty centrally to a lot of our residential. And then we have this one here, which is stopping, again, pretty centrally to some of this lower density residential. And so what I would like to work on is adding in some kind of tram service that's a bit more local. So I think if we came in here, and I know we have this beautiful tree-lined road, I've got two options. Either this could become our tram road, or we could throw the tram into this back area somehow. And actually, for temporary, hold on, let's just do something really quickly. Gameplay. I know we're using random disasters. I would like to disable fire spreading. Oh, but I can't do that if we're using this. All right, we just got to leave it. Oh, I'm just tired of everything burning down. We've got 2-lane road with tram tracks. I was going to do it on this avenue, but I'm actually thinking we're not going to do the avenue. We might have this tram road cut through this direction, and it can be like an old tram, or we could do the avenue, but I kind of like the idea of having an old tram road that comes up and through kind of this heart of the city. All right, we don't want anything to get destroyed, so turn off collision. I would like to make sure everything stays. We might need to move whatever this disconnect is. You know what this is, because it decided to become raised. It does not need to be raised. You know, this is related to the emergency shelters. So we don't really have to worry about that too much. All right, so this is a bridge. This will stay on the ground, and it might upset some people that we've got a tram line cutting right through the heart of their neighborhood now. But this also gives us great access to this downtown area. So for now, this tram is going to loop around this block. It might even just loop right here. For now, it's going to loop around the whole block. But my intention with this is that this tram could also begin to cut this way and serve a part of the downtown. But now we've got a great connection that goes, kind of, if this is north, east to west, that we did not have before. And then when we come up this way, I'm thinking, why don't we make some kind of tram turnaround? So now we've got a good little turnaround up here. Now we are going to have to add in a depot, which I do think makes sense to kind of be over here in this more transportation focused, loud area of our city. If I could get the depot to position itself this way, so it's facing this direction. I mean, I know we've got a pretty significant change in height here for the ground, but we could, we could actually take a road right out this way. Kind of send it along that fence, and then we could place the depot right against that road, which I don't hate. It does touch some of those houses, whereas if it was back here, it wouldn't touch as many. Alternatively, we put this like up this way in a totally different area, and we can kind of figure out what to do with it then. I don't mind this. I think this makes sense. It would be over here because East Cyprus is already really an area that is kind of being rebuilt. It's being reimagined. Let's get rid of this road. I do want this to be turned a bit. I would prefer this to be kind of facing this direction. Yeah. Something like this instead. So we'll sink this guy in here. It kind of lines up nicely with our train line that we have right next to it. Let's go ahead and grab a path. That's just going to kind of cut right along this edge. And I think this path is going to kind of meander its way up here. And ultimately just kind of connect into what we've already built over this way. And in fact, I think it can be a dirt path. So there's just some additional connection over this way. With that in mind, I am going to fill in a lot of this. Let's turn collision back on. Fill in a lot of this with extra trees. I know we've had a lot of issues with fires. It's okay. It's just kind of what happens. But I think as we keep building up this area, we're going to decide on different changes for the neighborhood. And I think one of them would be really beneficial, which is putting in some extra tree coverage just to block the noise that is going to be produced from these types of businesses or services. We're going to increase it a little bit. It's almost like a small little trail on this side of the train tracks. There are not any decent fences coming along here either, which I think is something we would want to consider. And we're going to use this zoo fence. We're going to take it straight on out to here. And then we're going to bring the zoo fence in, up, and then kind of connect it into our key wall there. So there's no way for people to get in the wrong area, but if they wanted to just kind of walk this pathway, they're more than welcome to. Okay, I can't see any reason why you would, but you never know. Some of these sims are a little wackadoodle. All right, let's connect this up. Seems to be some kind of issue here. This is actually not connected. So let's move this once more, and let's actually get it to connect. Okay. We're still not connected, so let's just rebuild this. We'll go with a straight line. from here to here. And actually, for this other portion, we'll use a regular road. We might be able to fit in a small little parking lot kind of along this back area for people to park their cars. There's a few spots there. But what if we came in here with just a tiny one? Let's do a tiny 2x2. We'll place 4 of them. Okay. And then let's throw down, let's get my favorite tree for this series, this chestnut. And we'll also place a few live oaks just to really fill it in. And then, you know what? I also want this guy. There we go. So we've got some pretty decent coverage there. Now, back to setting up our tram line. Our tram line's going this direction. But our depot's over here. I don't necessarily want to perfectly mirror this subway line, but I do think that we could have some benefit to having a tram come out and along this long edge. However, there's not a lot of development on it right now. So the alternative would be to have it to come up this road. And so we would kind of have 2 mirroring tram lines serving this whole area. Would we then want to connect this? Ooh, that changes things because we could connect it down to this portion of Ortera. All right, let's turn back on all of our little settings here. Let's send this tram line, we're auto-saving, all the way down here. And in fact, we're even going to send it along this front edge. We have this turnaround here, which I think we now change. I think the turnaround is this wider turn. This goes back to being a regular road. Trolleybus, tram track. Trolleybus. What is a trolleybus? Metro, tram, tours, taxi, cable, monorail. A trolleybus. How is it any different than a tram? Why don't we do the trolleybus? Is it the same size depot? It's actually a bit larger. I've never built this. All right, we're doing... This is all changing. I've never built one of these.
Meteorologists are issuing a thunderstorm warning for the coming days. Citizens are advised to stay indoors.
All right, severe thunderstorm here in the main heart of the city. We're going to keep it paused because I don't want to build in the rain, but then we'll unpause in a second. I've never built the trolleybuses. What kind of City Skylines player am I? But I have never built this before. All right, let's give this a bit of a curve. I think that having it straight was a little unrealistic. All right, let's go back to upgrading this. You're going to go this direction. You're going to come down here. And for now, hold on, we're going to cut this direction here first. Send you down here. Send you over and along and send you back up. Then we're going to send you straight this direction. Also, I can't remember from last time. Did I have things placed here? That just seems a bit empty to me, but it might have been how I left it. All right, this is going straight through. That will upgrade in a moment. This here is all on the ground. This can go back to being just a regular road. Trolleybus, trolleybus. Do we just have a trolley path? Probably going to be like all the way down at the end, or better yet, let's just go here. We're in the trolleybus path section. Look at all these. We get the 1 unit 2-lane 2-way road with trolleybus, no parking. This is nuts. For the turnaround bit, I'm almost tempted because we're going to have this other line. We'll have this for now. We'll have this connect. It's not going to stay this way long term. But what I'm thinking is for this moment, these are going to connect in kind of a square. And then as we begin to expand, we will get rid of this kind of square section. Or just maybe leave it as like an old service road, but we will end up separating the lines. The lines are not going to connect to each other in that way. That'll just be used as the turnaround. So let's go ahead and do a bridge. Let's do another bridge here. There's some issues with connectivity for, I believe, the emergency services. That's fine. I don't see any issues for trolleybus connection. So let's see what this looks like. I didn't know this was an option. All right, so let's start from the top, because here's where the top would be. We'd want to stop in front of the park. You know, we do want to turn around though. So hold on, let's do one quick little turn around here. Keep it to the ground. Connect this up. And then we're going to take this and connect it straight on down. It makes 2 intersections. Or should we bring this up? I think this is the better bet. Bring this up to here. Bring it back just a little bit. And connect it in like so. So we do have a small little turnaround here, but that's really useful for what we're doing. Let's throw down these live oaks. Because we can get a few of these in here. And feel like we really did the Lord's work. Let's also throw down just like an old fence. Almost like this was some kind of lot for a while, but no one's been here in ages. Turn off the angle snap. There we go. It's just kind of like an old lot. It's been emptied. They built this on the other side. Beautiful. All right, back to trolleybuses because this is absolutely wild. We're going to want to stop in front of the cemetery. Stopping in front of the cemetery is going to require us to turn around. So maybe we will turn around here only so that we're servicing all these people. We'll stop adjacent. This is also stopping next to the subway. I think we can go down past the highway interchange. I don't understand what that is doing. Okay, I think, hold on. I think I've got an issue here with evacuation routes. Delete evacuation route, delete evacuation route, delete evacuation route. For all 3 of those. Does this have an evacuation route? I don't think it did. Now let's try to do this again. If we know we're going to stop here, can we then come over this way and stop? No, there's something wrong over here. This is strange. Why are you doing that? All right, let's try this side. Let's go. Yes, some of these aren't letting me stop. Let's hit play. Is there any like weird buses set up anywhere that I'm not seeing? Or any like remnants of the evacuation routes? No. But for some reason, if I create a line here and say I come... First of all, I can't see the lines I'm creating. I guess let's just try to make one and see what happens. I'm a little confused as to what the issues are here, but let's just try. So if I'm here, we scoot on down. We're going to skip this intersection. We'll come here to this parking garage / park area. We'll come down a bit further along to here. This looks absolutely insane. We'll come down a bit further along to here. We will turn it around, and then we'll bring it back up,
Warning.
kind of mirroring.
Experts predict an earthquake could hit the area soon.
So that's technically closed. Pausing this to find out where this earthquake is. It's not in the area, but this looks bonkers. It looks like there are entirely too many stops in here. I don't know how to solve that issue, but let me go see this trolley bus. Because it basically functions like a bus. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh no.
An earthquake is occurring. Don't panic.
Great.
And wait for help if you are in the affected area.
Great, I love this. It's getting closer and closer each time, y'all. Like, this is going to be a problem. In no time, this city is gonna... Look at all these earthquakes in this area alone. Like, this is all an earthquake alley. This port is gonna constantly suffer. Man, lots of fires.
A thunderstorm is battering the city.
Oh.
Stay indoors until the storm has passed.
Gonna let that go. Okay, I don't know if this is working. Because, like, where's your next stop? Your next stop is here. You have 0 passengers. So then you stop. You grab some peeps. You keep it moving. I will say, although these are neat that they're like trolley buses, they look like regular buses. It looks to be functioning correctly. And in fact, maybe it fixed itself. But I'm not as impressed by these. Like, it just doesn't make me excited. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, ooh, I can't wait to ride the trolley bus. Like, who cares? All right, so we did have some issues. I mean, it's still going on, but this keeps happening for this port area. There's just not enough connectivity between the two. But let's go ahead and try to fix all of these issues if we can. So let's get rid of this guy. Try to connect it up. I don't think there's any issues with like this area staying connected up. There are going to be probably more issues with Port Sarepo, but that's okay. I'm not loving the trolleys. I know we just spent all this time and I, thought I was excited about them. I'm not excited about them. They're just not it. It's not the thing. We need a tram setup. I want a tram network in this city. That's what we want to see. So let's come back in here. Let's grab this tram road. Straight angle, straight on down. This, come on, straight on down. This is going to connect straight on over. Let's go into our transportation menu. Close, open this, delete this line. We don't need it. And then let's just take a moment and let's upgrade the appropriate lines as we need. So with this brand new trolley setup, I don't think we're gonna have great success here. Just seeing the track record we've had recently with connectivity and roads in the game, but who knows? So I know I want 2 separate lines. I don't want to do a loop. I want to have one line that goes down and then another line that goes up. Eventually they'll be separated, but for now they're going to be together, or at least sharing similar sections of the line. So we're going to have one that goes here, that's then going to come along and stop on this block. It's servicing this side of the highway well, so I think we will cross over and connect to this side of the highway just before the bridge. It allows you to get off and get some good connectivity there. Then we will cross over and stop here. We're close to some of these larger buildings that are... we've got some issues with sewage. I got to deal with sewage today too. Don't let me forget. We're close to these larger commercial and business and office buildings. This here is a monument, so we're going to want to have some kind of connection close to that. So I think here's a good idea. And then we can come down here next to this Crescent Hill Park as well as the shoreline. We'll then want to turn it around, which I don't believe we can make that turn, which is a bit of a problem. So this is not going to work in its current setup. Let's go ahead and upgrade this road here to this tram as well. Click on this guy, and I think we should be able to... There we go. We've reconnected. Can we turn here? No. But we can turn there. Okay, so that's working. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. I really don't understand. We're going to just follow this all the way back up like we did before and connect here and then close that off. So there's our first tram line. It does not go in front of the university. That's okay. We have a bus connection here that's cutting through, and we have this metro. And I anticipate maybe making this avenue a tram avenue, but we need to build out this area before we can do that. But I think this avenue could be a good tram avenue. So we would have 3 tram avenues going through this part of the city. This particular line that we're working on now, I think is a line that is going to eventually come over this direction. This line here is going to be more of a spur where it's just kind of servicing this shorter area. And then that could potentially go out this way. I don't know. Let you guys tell me what you think, and we'll go from there. All right, for this one here, we want to be kind of leveraging... We want to leverage this stop for sure. So I think if we had a stop here in front of the cemetery, the park, and the metro, this could get a bit dicey because we're right next to this highway entrance, but I think we'll be fine to try it out. We'll come down here, go a few more blocks down, and then we'll also stop in front of the avenue. I think coming down this direction, we could stop once more along this road. And if I wanted to loop it back around, it would just loop around that way. That's fine with me. We'll send this back up this way. Oh, undo that. Place it here. Place one here. Place one here. And then let's reconnect these together. Okay. And then I'm thinking, do we want to go ahead? Let's go ahead and just do this. There's no time like the present. I think this beautiful road ends up being turned into not elevated. It's on the ground. There is no reason to elevate that. This ends up getting turned into a tram road, which can also have the benefit of serving part of this park and cutting across the front edge here. So this front road, which I don't know the name of, but this front road could also become a tram road because that's already going to connect into the current network that we have created. When we have issues like that, I don't know what causes those kinds of issues. Are we using every aspect of this road? We are, which is good. Okay, so the only downside to this right now is we don't really have a good turnaround for this, which could be a problem. So let's come in here, and just for the moment, let's go ahead and just use this little guy. We're going to come from here, we'll go straight on out. And for now, we're just going to do a really ugly turn. I guess it could go both ways. Because this is not staying. This is just so I can get this up and running. Okay, but like that kind of turn is so remarkably ugly. Hold on. This is not working. Let's do this instead. I have a better idea. Take this road. Send it straight on out. And then, can we roundabout this road? Tram track, 2-lane, roundabout. Make it a bit smaller. Beautiful. It's not perfect. It's not going to stay. So it doesn't have to be any of those things. We also have buildings here that were destroyed. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. What else down here was destroyed? Anything? No? Okay. Tram. Definitely stopping here in front of the university. Going to stop down here. Granted, there's nothing here yet, but there will be a park. We will cut on over to here, because then you have this other avenue. You can get out of your car, hop on the avenue, get where you gotta go. We'll stop in front of Crescent Hill Park. And then if I were to turn around, it uses this connection here. If I went here, could we also connect to here? Okay, great. We're going to share a few stops here. We're going to connect from here over to here. For some reason, I can't click on this back road right now. So we're just going to ignore that issue, not stress about it. The second time we're having this problem, but oh well. Connect there, and then we go through and do this strange little... Again, what is the point of some of these these weird transitions that are happening? Like if I were to put these here, it still doesn't fix this strange connection that's happening there. Or I guess maybe because this is a one-way and it's the wrong direction. Maybe this should be 2-lane. And maybe that can solve that problem for us. Huh. I don't know what is causing that, but we're going to have stops on both sides here. That's going to serve the university. There we go. I think that's pretty good. It's a pretty intense bus line for now. I think once we get more built out here, we're going to be able to make this make a bit more sense. But I think the city's pretty small at the moment, so there's not a ton that needs to be connected here. Really also thinking of this, I don't necessarily feel we need to do any immediate connection to this area just yet. Just yet. We will, just not yet. I don't think it's time. All right, let's zoom on in. You can be rebuilt, which is great. We need you there. You're running out of sewage, which we're going to deal with here in a moment. All of you are running out of sewage, so hold the phone. There is something terribly wrong with sewage. All of you guys are out of sewage. Are we just there? Something had to have been destroyed. You're no longer needs a connection. Needs to be connected to lines. Don't you have a tram over here? Yeah, there's a pink line right here. I don't know what's wrong with you. We're gonna not deal with that for sure. That doesn't seem like a good problem to be having. Everything's on fire. All right, let's just start trying to fix things. I think we did it. Did we solve all these problems? I think we did. Okay, great. I don't feel like we've done anything. We've built some trams, which is awesome, but like not as robust as I was hoping. How are they doing? Are people using them? So we've got this line here, which is connected and is functioning. The line is moving. So I think we're going to ignore the error that this was originally giving, saying that it had no way to connect, because from what I'm seeing, you're connected. I think that was a mistake. I think you just didn't know what was happening. This tram line here, let's follow it. Oh crap. Hold on. Trams, this one, inspect, follow. So here's one of the stops. Right now it's got one passenger on it. We're up here in the upper or eastern part of our city. We've picked up a few people. Let's go ahead and speed it up. It's en route to its next stop. Okay, we cut under the highway. We come up here on this side of the avenue. We do pick up a few more people here, 14. Stop at the light. I don't know what was going on with those trolleybuses, but it looks like the trams are working, which is a good thing. All right, we've come over here. We now have 13. We did leave a few people, or let a few people go, so that's good. It's a good sign. Coming right along. We're now getting to the heart of our current setup for downtown. 16 people, a number of people got off. We got to fix that building. There's nobody waiting here just yet. Lots of tram traffic down this way. Lots of people got off. Before we continue, let me go ahead and fix this building that was destroyed. Ready to rebuild. Why can't I rebuild it? Oh, because it's a zoned building. Got it. Got it. We're having a bit of a death wave, it looks like. I do want to go ahead. We're going to kind of take a break for now from the tram setup. I do want to go ahead and fix a few small things. So one, I've had some suggestions for a bike network, and I think that that's exactly what we need. So let's turn off the collision here. And let's turn this road that goes along the quay wall into a bike lane. Bike lane road. That's going to service this kind of whole edge of the city. I do also think we need one that goes down. So I think that this road here can be that bike lane. And the reason this can be a good bike lane is because it comes past some of our stations, right? It then will come down and kind of fall into this middle area, which we do have some lines on here. I wonder if they'll reconnect. But that doesn't matter. We don't need to do that. Let's do this. It'll end here. And then at this avenue, do we have a bike lane avenue with trees? And if not, I need to get one. Because I want both. I want to have the trees, but I also want to have the bike connectivity. Like this here, that's bike, but it's not exactly what I want. All right, well, we have the bike lane. It comes down here. I think it will also continue up into this section of the city. Now, this is limiting some of our traffic possibilities for parking, but I'm okay with that for now. We'll see if that becomes a problem. I'm basically trying to, because we have our public transit infrastructure for our trains and our metro going north to south, which I guess would really be this direction, north to south. I want to have the bike network mirror that in some capacity, but then also service east to west. And then I want to have the tram network, which will become more robust as we keep expanding on it, also go east to west. So in that respect, we would then be covering the entire city. So we now have a pretty decent bike line that cuts right through and cuts north to south, east to west. It's kind of a little cross going on there. We have a strange, oh, this is how the stop looks. Okay. So we have our trams here. These probably don't have many passengers, if any. Did you just pick somebody up? Oh, no, you didn't. Did you pick anybody up? You got 2 people on it. That's awesome. So we've got our trams going along this way as well. We have been going for a minute here, but I just don't feel like we've done as much as I want. And because we have a little bit of demand for business, or for commercial. Nope, also not that. We have a little bit of demand for residential. I want to work on this area a little bit. So one, we're going to go ahead. Let's cut the stadium district to better encompass just this area. So all of this is going to get filled in. All of this is going to get filled in. The stadium comes up to this road, but it doesn't actually take that road. And then I think we'll bring this down and around here, cutting it off this edge. I think what I would like to do, I want to get rid of this zoning right here. I don't want these houses here. I want to put in a few more trees kind of along this little edge, and I want to leave this as a small little just reserve. It's technically going to be listed as a park, but we're going to make this a tiny little reserve. I know this area has a lot of that, but we've got so many good natural features in this part of the city that I don't want to just fill it all with houses and call it a day. So what's going to happen? This whole area is going to be a reserve in some way. And I actually think that this is going to, it's going to be pretty beefy. Hold on. This idea is coming to me as we go. So this is going to actually come all the way over this direction. And this reserve is going to fill in, kind of encompass this neighborhood. So all of this here up until these train lines, up into here, up over here. All of this is going to be part of this reserve. So we've kind of built around it, which is a lot of times how this development works. Like you mark an area that is going to be the reserve, but people will build right up to it on all possible edges because they want to make that money. All right, so we've got that side covered. For this area here, we're going to cut it off the road. I think we're going to keep the road out of this. But now we have this here, spruce grounds. We're going to make this a reserve. I want to, did I already water all this? I did. Now the water, you can see there's old road remnants where those pipes go, but that's okay. I want to make this a nature reserve. So let's go ahead and go to parks. Let's go to nature reserve. And the Spruce Grounds is going to be our nature reserve. Now, what I want to think about here is we've got two roads that kind of service this whole area. We have a more scenic route, and then we have a more direct route. I think that for what we're building, before we even get to that, I think that this scenic route is going to be not that. It's going to be tree lined. I think I want this to have a lot of nice trees on it. The whole purpose of this road is you're in nature for a minute, you're just taking a breather, you're enjoying your surroundings. I also want to pull in my tried and true favorite tree of the season, but I want to pull in this tree, the chestnut. And then we're also going to increase the strength of this a little bit. Hold on, I think I have an issue here where I'm colliding. Okay, great. Let's turn that off. All right, we're going to increase the strength of our tree brush a little bit. And right along the edge where the road is going to be much, much, much more dense than the rest of the downtown, rest of this forested area. So now we've got this kind of beautiful tree-lined road hugging the riverfront. This road up here, I think we're going to actually change into just a regular road. No grass on it, or better yet, this could become a bike lane road. That's going to be a bike lane road. It comes down to the avenue. I think that's great. I think we'll follow that bike lane road all the way through to here, and then we'll come to the other side. And then I think we will have the bike lane road come along this edge and come down. And it's not really going to need to go that direction, so I think that's fine there. I think if anything, we'll have one bike lane road. It won't be this one. But we will have a bike lane road kind of cut through this center area and dead end down there. So we kind of have created some bike almost avenues, if you will. Now, what I want to do in terms of the actual zoning, so we've got our nature reserve kind of hugging this development. I think there are two different areas here. We have this area here that incorporates the nature reserve. But I think when we get to kind of this road here, I think this all is a different neighborhood. So let's clear out a space here and let's start a new neighborhood that's going to come down and around. It's going to follow this road up to here, and then it's going to cut down. So let's go ahead and just fill this in. So now we're going to have this district, the stadiums, and then this district up here, which is more comparable in size to Belmont and some of the others. Now, for this area, let's do a bit of zoning. Just kind of get some of that mapped out. Let's turn the speed down. We don't need to rush the disasters any more than they're already coming, because they are really, really moving. I do think that even with the reserve here, we're going to want to do some kind of internal park to this area, because I feel like this is a nice area to live in. I think this is going to be that little park. So we're just going to mark this. This is not going to have anything decorative in it. It's just going to be this tiny little center area, maybe the little neighborhood center, and then the rest of this is all going to be zoned. So let's get into that. Before we do that, let's set up our themes. Let me jump and make a quick collection of some of these New Zealand buildings that we have. I think this is more what I'm looking for. All right, let me make a quick theme here. We've got a good theme. Let's change this whole little block to the New Zealand housing theme. We're going to give it some services, or we're going to do recycling for sure. We'll do Parks and Rec. We'll also do a few others further down. For here, we will do an education boost because it's going to be a bit more of an expensive area. So I'm going to want everyone here to be educated. We will do prefer parks. We will also do, the biking one is not in here yet. We'll do recycle plastics. We'll do educational blimps. Under city planning, we will do encourage biking, we will do NIMBY, and we will also do a heavy traffic ban. We'll also make this a fast recovery area, and let's get crazy and do like a no combustion engine. Like, let's really make this an interesting little area to live in. All right, let's go ahead and fill in what we want here. I think this road with the bike lane is going to be our kind of our commercial area for this section of the city. Business, business, definitely business. I think we do a business here as well as some like little corner johns down here in this corner. And then I think that's good. I don't think we need more business than that. I think this area here is all going to get filled with residential. This area here is all getting filled with residential. This is all residential. And we're not doing residential on the outside of this loop. So there's going to be no buildings on the outer edge because that's a part of our nature reserve. So we need to preserve the reserve. Go ahead and clear that off the park. This area here can be residential. This area here can be residential. Down here, this here, residential. Now these houses here, it's gonna suck to live in once the stadiums get built because I'm gonna do my best to separate the stadium from the noise of these, or for the noise of the stadium from the needs of the houses. But I do think there is just a little bit of this that's like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna get loud. Nothing I can do about it. You're living near a stadium. That's what the city wanted. Get into it. All right, so there we go. We got all this. It's gonna need power. I don't think there's any easy way to connect this up. Let's do our, this is the rural and this is the suburban. Let's grab the suburban line. I'm gonna actually send it from this middle section directly over to here. Then we're going to cut to the outside edge. And we are going to follow along this road. That's great. Now we do want to do some services. I also want to work on our reserve. So let's just knock the services out real quick. Garbage I'm not concerned about. Yeah, you're close to that whole processing center, and as this gets more connected, that's going to get just even easier. Post office though, you don't have. I wouldn't mind putting the post office right here on the corner. And it kind of fits nicely because it has like that curved edge there, which I think looks really great. I'm curious how these houses are going to turn out. They might be a little low rise, but it's something different. It's going to give this neighborhood its own feel. We're going to need some kind of clinic in this area for sure. Again, I want to try to keep these buildings along the main road where possible because that's where our bike path is. So I think that makes a lot of sense. We'll also place a crematorium, and instead of hiding it, oh, and my dog is getting up from her nap. Instead of hiding it, the crematorium, I think we're going to put it right here in the middle of like this downtown area and just embrace that we obviously need one. So get into it. This feels like one of those neighborhoods that would have its own cemetery. So at the moment it's going to be overkill because there's one right down here, but I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. Fire coverage. There is a fire watchtower here, but not actually a station. So I think we also need to consider a station in this area somewhere because this is our road here with our Fairview Street is our main avenue or main drag for this area. We're going to want to have one of those there. And then we're also going to want to put down a police station. And I think it's going to be right here on the corner. Those people are going to get kicked out, but I think I want it there on the corner. I also am interested in doing some schools. So we're fine on elementary schools, but I think we still need one. I know people just built there. Sorry, y'all. I need to put that school there. And then high schools, we have one down this way in Belmont, but this is one of those communities I think that would have their own, and we'll do the Institute of Creative Arts. It's a little bit larger. It's quite a beefy building all around, but I think having it kind of facing out, oh, it's a little bit too high, facing down, you can see it as you're driving up the hill. You're like, that's my school. It's a pretty neat way to place that building. With that though, let's get rid of some of this kind of funky zoning that we don't really want. I think we're going to cut this all the way back to here. In an area like this, I would like to put a small little pathway. So we'll go up and we'll go over. Just like so. Great. And then I think we'll even place down just a few trees along here to separate noise and all of that from the school. This is going to begin to fill in pretty quickly. Now let's do a bus, because we haven't done buses for these two areas. And I think we need one now. Now we've got some decent stuff going on. So I think the bus line is going to kind of mirror some of the work we're doing with the bike path. I had to think what the heck I called it for a second. This area here is going to have a little park. There's going to be lots of people living up here. I think the bike is going to go around, the bus is going to go around the park. So let's go ahead and start here by the cemetery. We'll bring it down. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to come around again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we will begin to come down this road. This is our main drag. So we're going to obviously need to stop here on the main drag. And then I think because this whole road here is not going to have any zoning or anything on it, that's going to stay pretty empty. I think our bus is going to come down here, cross over into this neighborhood, stop pretty close here. Actually, it's going to stop here, directly in front of this train station. And then over here, we've got some of our services, our high school, our senior citizen center, our basketball court. So it's also going to stop over here and maybe even just come up here to this end and kind of loop back around on itself. So I think it's not a terrible idea. Actually, cut that one. Stop this somewhere. There's more houses on this side. So stop this over here. Then maybe these two stops can be a little misaligned. Kind of just service some of those people better. It'll stop all the way down here again and reconnect to itself. Then going to follow its original route, stopping right next to its old stops, mirroring all the way down. And now we've got this kind of connection here. It doesn't reach over into this area. I think that's satisfied by the train line. We have a yellow train that goes from here to here, so I don't necessarily think there's a need for a bus to do exactly the same. We could have potentially cut in maybe here and come over, but I like where it's stopping. So let's figure out what that bus would be named. Where's this one? Who are you? I don't even know what bus route that is. I'm just going to delete whatever that is. Oh, it doesn't exist. It's all fake. That's not real. Ignore that. All right. Bus line 16 is our new bus line. It is a route, so we'll need an odd number. So if we look over our numbers here, we got 8, 4, we got a 5, we have a 9. Where's 3? Oh, there's 3. So 1, 3, 5, 9. We don't have an 11. All right, so we're going to have, this will be route 11. Route number 11. And it is connecting, let's call this upper part Underhill. So Underhill, UDH to Belmont, so BEL. We're going to give this a nice, kind of like a light, maybe like a nice light peach color for this area. And then we're going to rename this section here Underhill. There we go. So Underhill's moving and shaking. We're getting some buildings in here. They look a little different than our other areas of the city, but I want to think that this particular neighborhood had a plan for what they wanted up here, and no one was going to tell them otherwise. So let's go ahead and just fill in some trees. It's going to help kind of fill in those center sections that aren't being filled by the people. And then we'll come back and do some individual placements of trees when we need to later on. Underhill Park is going to be incredibly simple, super basic. We're going to get in here. We're going to grab a really simple main entrance, and we're going to grab 1, 2 small side entrances. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3. Boom. There is Underhill Park. That's as extravagant as it gets. It's not going to get a fence. It's going to stay open like that. I think that's fine. And then for our nature reserve, we're going to work on this, I think, more in depth later on. But for now, I do want to just kind of get a main gate set up somewhere. I think the main gate will be down this way. It'll be kind of at the end of Underhill. You would come down here. You could enter from this section. We could have some side gates throughout. We'll have one over here by the school. I think that makes some sense. We can have one over this way. Can we fit one closer? Yeah, it's closer to the downtown, so there's like an entrance down that way. And then I think we'll also put one... I don't think we're going to put one down there. Yes, it's a part of it. It's a part of the this area, but you don't have to necessarily be at enter from every single area. I think this spruce marsh portion, this is going to stay pretty untouched by man, whilst the rest of them can all have paths and things kind of winding through them. So let's go ahead and turn off all of our guides. And let's go ahead and just start to see where we think this can go. It's gonna mirror that pretty closely for now, which is okay. Kind of scoot that out to reconnect it in, and then from here we're going to come back out again. I think for here we're going to, I don't necessarily need it to be at 9 feet. So maybe this can just begin to...
Geologists predict that a sinkhole could strike at any minute. Residents should take precautionary measures.
Do we want to see where it is? Should we look, or should we just kind of like wing it? 'Cause it could be anywhere. Let's see. I've not built the appropriate thing, so it's not going to hit us. Allegedly. They say that. That doesn't mean... frankly anything. All right, so this is gonna come back around this way. Oh yeah, we fine. A
sinkhole has occurred somewhere in the city. Stay out of harm's way and contact authorities with any information.
There we go. So we've got a little nature reserve that surrounds this neighborhood, and then let's go ahead and let's just do one more of these kind of swipes. Let's lessen the size of this to like 50-ish, but increase the strength to 20. And what I want to do is specifically around the pathway, I want to have denser trees that kind of allow the people walking this nature reserve to get a little lost. To feel like, wow, we're out of the city for a brief moment, even though they're really in a pretty dense part of the city. So there we go, we have Underhill. So that's going to start continue to fill in. It's really helping with our population. I mean, I know it doesn't look like we've done a lot, but it's kind of keeping that demand down and tampering that a little bit, which is a good thing. Maybe in the next part we'll work on the stadium section, but I really need to start thinking about how the entrance is for both this Hillside Hills section, as well as the highest buildings like districts. How we're getting the people into the stadiums. We're going to need another exit from the highway, but I'm really curious, what do you guys think of our tram setup? Again, remember, this is the infant stage of the trams. We've got 349 people using them. We have one that's going this direction. Again, I think this is a spur. I think this is going to only go this direction. This tram line's not going to expand any. We have this central one, which I think is going to begin to come down into the highest building section, or maybe this central one goes this direction. And then we have this further, more leftmost tram line that's going to end up coming along this front edge. And I think this is the tram line that's connected to the university, that's connected to Ortera, that's connected to this park, that's going to come all the way up and through into the stadiums, and potentially we'll have it even connect into Underhill a little bit. But until we build out this center section, we can't do that yet. So again, I keep saying I want to make sure it's clear. This is not the final state of the trams, but we're getting there with the trams. I'm not even going to name them yet. Actually, I am going to name them, and we're going to name them for the reason so when you guys give comments, we can kind of talk about these together. We have 3rd Street Tram. We have the 1st Street Tram. And we have the 7th Avenue Tram. 7th Avenue Tram. Okay? We're going to make the 3rd Street Tram a deeper blue. We're going to make the 1st Street Tram a funky green. There we go. No, the green's too similar to the subway. We'll make this an orange, which is really similar to the train. Okay, that's fine. We've got 3 tram lines. Let me know what you think of them. I think we're going to keep expanding on them as we go. I will think about doing more too. My escape key is not doing anything. This game is really just having a tough time. I'll think about doing more with this nature reserve. This was kind of a spur of the moment idea that I am really interested in kind of pursuing. I am liking how Underhill is developing so far. We got 446 families. We've got some really decent commercial here, and people seem happy. $51. Let's just quickly, before we close out, I would love to check the land values. All right, Newport, real expensive, $80 a square meter. Ortera, $79, East Cyprus, $68, and West Cyprus, $69. So Newport is really expensive. That's Old City. That's been there for forever. Belmont is $66, Lidditz Point, $74, and then some of our oldest parts of the city, we have Fulton Square at $69, we have Ridgeside at $51, Edgemont at $67, Elk District at $60 with a cemetery that needs to be emptied, Port Song, $63, Riverside, $67. You know what's really fascinating is that even with all of these areas being here for ages, and poor Wishoe out here at $15, Newport, $80. That's amazing. Port Sarepo, $36, but don't worry, Port Sarepo is going to have a glow up one day. Once we start doing once we start doing more work on our tourism, that's really going to turn around. All right, I think this is pretty good. I'm happy with where we're at. We did a little bit of public transit. We really built out this area. Basically, I'm squeezing into the highest buildings. We're going to do them. I think I just want to kind of get some of these other things figured out before we really settle on the downtown. But I think that's where we're going to leave this part here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this part, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know, how do we feel about the trams? We've got 3rd Street Tram, 1st Street Tram, and 7th Avenue. Just to kind of close out, here's a view from above. And tell me what you think. It's kind of a spur of the moment idea. I knew I wanted trams, didn't know how I wanted to implement it, and this is what we came up with. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.